I'm excited to show you how to make our watermelon tourmaline bracelet. It features 8 different colors of Swarovski Crystal Bicone beads that mimic the same colors in the watermelon tourmaline gemstone strands. So let's get started. Hi, welcome to Fusion Beads. Today I'm going to show you how to make our watermelon tourmaline bracelet. This bracelet features Swarovski Crystal Bicone beads in Fuchsia, Rose, Light Topaz, Olivine, Indian Sapphire, Montana, and Dark Indigo. I'm just going to use a basic pewter clasp by TierraCast, and then I've got my findings. I have some soft flex beading wire that I'm going to be using. And for my tools, I have a bead stopper, some basic wire cutters, and some crimping pliers. So let's get started. Okay, to begin our bracelet, we're going to go ahead and cut about 9 inches of the soft flex beading wire. I just kind of estimate it here. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the loop side of my toggle clasp, and with my beading wire, I'm going to thread on 1 crimp bead, and then the loop of the toggle, and then I go back through the crimp bead. I use my crimping pliers, and on the back notch, I crimp it 1 time, then I flip it and use the front notch and crimp it 1 more time, and then just kind of turn it and crimp it to make a little cylinder. And then using my wire cutters, I'm just going to go ahead and trim the excess beading wire that I don't need there. So I've got my 1 strand done. This is a 3-strand bracelet, but I'm going to string 1 strand at a time. So my pattern is I'm going to string 2 of the fuchsia, 2 of the rose, 2 of the light rose, 2 of the light topaz, 2 of the olivine, 2 of the Indian sapphire, 2 of Montana, and 2 of the dark indigo. So to get started, I'm going to pick up 2 of the fuchsia and go ahead and string those on there. And then 2 of the rose. And I'm just going to continue with this pattern of 2 of each color and then repeat. So I'm going to I'll continue stringing this and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have strung 2 complete patterns of my bicones. So I have 2 of each from the fuchsia to the dark indigo. And I have that twice. For my last section, it's pretty much that same pattern, except for you do not add the dark indigo. It's just 2 of everything else. And the reason I did that is because I wanted my bracelet to be about 7.5 inches. If I had done another one, it would have been a little bit too long given the clasp. So we go ahead and just finish that last stringing of the last pattern. But if you need your bracelet to be longer or shorter, this would be the part where you could omit some beads here. Or add a few extra if you need your bracelet to be a little bit longer than 7.5 inches. Okay, so I'm down to my last 2. And seeing as how I am going to have this be a 3-strand bracelet, I'm going to go ahead and use my bead stopper to secure this end as I go ahead and attach 2 more lines of beading wire to this end of the clasp, and then I go ahead and string the same pattern over again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've attached my other 2 strands of beading wire and have strung my pattern, which is just 2 of each bead, 2 of each bead, and then the last pattern, so you repeat that twice, and then the third section, it's 2 of each bead minus the dark indigo for the proper length. So I'm ready to go ahead and attach my toggle bar to my other end of my bracelet. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick that up and pick up a jump ring, because I'm going to use a jump ring to add a little bit of extra length so that it's easier to clasp this bracelet when you have it on, given that you have 3 strands. This is also a good time if you need to add more length, that you could add a couple of jump rings if needed. So I've got that secured on there. So then I'm going to go ahead and pick off one beading wire off of my bead stopper and then keep the other ones on there so that my beads don't fall off. I'm going to go ahead and pick up one crimp bead with my beading wire. I'm going to go through the jump ring that I just attached and go back through the crimp bead. And then go ahead and string that down to my beads. You want it to be kind of snug but not too tight because you want to be able to have a nice drape to your bracelet. So it's always kind of good just to like bend it a little bit and just make sure that everybody can kind of move there. So take my crimping pliers, put it in the back notch and crimp it one time, then turn it, putting it in the front notch and crimp it one more time. Whoops. Try to get everything to agree with you here. And I'm just going to do 1/3 more time to get a nice cylinder shape with that crimp bead. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut off my excess beading wire with my cutters. So now I've got one strand attached. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process for my other 2 strands, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've attached the other 2 ends of my beading wire to my toggle bar, and now I'm ready to put on my crimp bead covers. So I'm just going to pick up my crimping pliers and put the crimp bead cover in the first notch of the crimping pliers. And then I'm going to go ahead and thread that on to the crimp bead and gently close it. You don't want to smash it so that it makes a nice little cylinder, or nice little round bead, not a cylinder anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and attach crimp bead covers to the rest of my ends, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've added my crimp bead covers to both sides of my clasp. Now my watermelon tourmaline bracelet is complete. You can find this inspiration design along with many others at fusionbeads.com.